Okay, we're in the garden again, and there's Gypsy, and there's Oscar, having a bit of a manicure by the looks of it. And this is my little rug here. I'm sitting under one of my trees. So I'm doing a bit of a LenorMarch catch up, and today, which I think is day 17 or something. Oh well, I'll work that out later, or it will be. I think I did 16. So day 17, I think, was about the mountain and the path, or the crossroads. So I've got these two are from the Under the Roses Lenormand deck, and these two are from the Mysteries of the Old Castle deck, where we've got the mountain and the fork, they call the path on that one. And the mountains are very similar. The paths are different. We've got a person in that one who reminds me of the hermit. So those are the two cards, and what do they mean to me? Mountains kind of mean quite big, strong things, like, I guess. They're quite powerful, but they do get in the way. If you want, and they are a challenge if you want to see what's over the other side. And these two cards actually remind me of my life at the moment and where I'm at, because I'm in this kind of situation where I don't know what to do next. Been a mother forever. My kids are growing up. I've got family split over 2 hemispheres, and I just don't know which signpost to take. And I feel stagnated and stuck at this kind of crossroads, and with this massive, great mountain in the way, that's blocking me. And the thing is, I put it there. If the family were all in one place, it would be much easier. But they're not. So I'm kind of stuck with an obstacle of 13,000 miles, and a house in one country, and just big scary stuff that freaks me out. So even before I I can't make a decision for some reason. I'm the kind of person who waits for the universe to tell her where to go and what to do. So I'm kind of just like a surfer waiting for my wave at the moment, and hopefully that will, when it comes, I'll know. I mean, I will know. I'm trying to find you the sun, just going behind the clouds, look. So that's the mountain and the path, and to me they pretty much mean the same as they mean in the traditional Lenormand translation. So the question for the mountain and the paths was, is there a deck that you've stumbled with and got stuck with and then decided to go ahead with or not go ahead with, or something along those lines? I really should have printed these out, but I didn't. Oh, yeah. Oh, the Toth, years and years. I'm not actually a fan of the artwork, and I have battled with it. I can read intuitively with it, which really shocked me, but I'm not that attracted to it. Kind of wanted to be, because it's one of the biggies, but I'm not. There's, just things about it I'm not keen on. The Rosetta's the same. The Golden Dawn decks, they just don't really do much for me. I mean, I love all the associations. I love numerology, astrology, and all the different associations. I don't know a lot about the Kabbalah, but I mean, I could learn. It's not that I'm adverse to learning. It's just that the actual artwork in those decks, they don't call out to me. But I have gone backwards and forwards with them. I've got a couple of decks in my collection, which I have mainly for collection things like the Sherlock Holmes Tarot was actually a gift a year or two ago now, because I loved the Sherlock Holmes stories and I loved mysteries and crime. But again, it seems to be very much its own system, and I haven't had much time in the last few years to read for leisure. or to read any of my spiritual and tarot stuff. And it is one I would like to get into and look at. I've got respect for the people who created the deck, and I've heard like good and bad things about it online, but I do think it's something that I really would like to get my annotated Sherlock stories down and like dive into. And then there's been lots of conversation recently about copying art and recycled art on decks and guidebooks in the Marielle and all that stuff. And you know, sometimes that puts me off a deck when it becomes all kind of hot gossip in the media. I tend to put it away and forget about it for a while and then go back to it when I feel ready or not. So yeah, that's about that for that question. For day 17. And then next, which would be day 17 or 18, we have the mice and the heart, these are the two from Under the Roses. So they've defined the heart as a locket. And then in the old castle, there's my mice and my heart. I think in the old castle, the mice are actually rats. Yes, they are. But the rats, and they're falling down there. So, right, there's the Under the Roses, the mice and the locket. And the old castle, we've got the rats and the heart. So, I like mice and I like rats. I've had pet mice and I've had pet rats, and I like them both. So, to me, when I think of mice, I don't think of things eating away, except sometimes they do get in the house, and it's pretty complicated because I don't like trapping them, and I hope that having cats actually keeps them, the smell of the cats and everything keeps them away. It's Gypsy again, munching the tree. And hearts, well, just mean, I suppose, love, passion, all those things that traditionally associated with hearts and friendship. And the question is, what eats away? What do you think eats away at relationships, and what do you do about it, or how do you avoid it? I think what eats away at relationships are, well, one of the things is when you get in a relationship with someone who's just controlling and tends to take you over, and you let this thing happen without knowing it. And if you get involved with someone like this, and it can be a friend or a partner, a romantic relationship, you end up being eaten away at until there's not much of you left. And everyone from the outside can see this happening, but you can't. So you end up having to come out of it virtually just, there's nothing left of you. By the time the relationship's ended, you're just this tiny little shadow person. But you just don't notice it happening because it's so slowly. I mean, it happens so slowly. And I think at the beginning of the relationship, you have certain boundaries and things you'll accept and you won't. But as things go on and you become this lesser and lesser version of yourself, you put up with more and more shit and crap until there are no boundaries left. So, and the only way you can deal with those is just get out as soon as you recognize what's happening. And it's not easy to do. But hope that the wisdom and experience of the past will help to avoid that in the future. The other situation where this can happen, I think, is with energy vampires. And people laugh at me about that, but they really do exist. And they suck away at your energy, and they can do it. You don't even have to be in the same room as these people. They can be just in your life. They can be online. They can be in your circle, and you can feel that person straight away sapping away at your energy. And the only way you can deal with that is by having very strong emotional boundaries, which I pretty much suck at creating. It can happen with family members, anyone who upsets that equilibrium and that feeling that all is well with you. You can be toppled so easily, and this happens to me all the time. I'm really easily pushed over, and then I go into this black darkness, and I let other people do it to me, and it's something I'm learning to deal with. I shouldn't do it, but I do, and they can bring me down so easily. So yeah, that's something I'm learning to deal with. So now I'm going to look at the next two cards, and I will come back. Okay, so day 19, we have, for day 19, we have the journal and the ring, or the book and the ring. And under the rose it calls it a journal. And you can see the ring card, it's a kind of smaller ring compared to the rose. And then the Mistress of the Old Castle, we've got the book and the ring and the hand. Again, the hands are quite big within the ring. So books, I just love books. Books mean the world to me. My books and my tarot decks are my most important things, the non-living things in my life, and the things that give me the most pleasure. And my iPhone, because I can do everything with that. I can watch it, I can connect to my friends. It's like a little heart, really. And writing, I'm a writer, so I love to write. I love books to write in as well, that's the other side of it, the journal gives you. So they basically mean the same. Escapism, books also mean escape, as well as learning and knowledge and gaining experience. Education, history, study, all those things, new discoveries. Books mean all of those things to me. And the ring is a sign of contracts and like deals and commitments. And again, yeah, pretty much that's what a ring would mean to me. I lost my wedding and engagement rings before I left my ex-husband, and never worn a ring since, and I didn't wear it very often. I kind of feel bad about it, but it's gone. We tried to find it, I never found it again. Probably one of those things that was just, I don't know, never meant to be. So I've not had a ring since then. But the question was, are there any books I'm committed to reading this year? Not really. I've spent 3 years reading because I had to for study, a diploma and followed by a degree, and I've been having a break and just reading novels. There is one I'm commit to reading, which is by my favourite author, Phil Rickman. He's a British author, and he writes a couple of different series, but there's one he writes about an exorcist called Merrily Watkins. And they recently made, or a few months ago in Britain, they made a TV series of it, of the first book, I think it was called Midwinter of the Spirit. And I highly recommend it. Merrily Watkins is a female exorcist, and it's it's kind of spiritual. It's got all kinds of stuff in it, and he's a fantastic and very intelligent author. So I do recommend Phil Rickman. So I shall read his new book, which is, I think, called Friends of the Dusk. And I'm also going to read this book, A Degree of Mastery, A Journey Through Book Arts Apprenticeship by Annie Tremor Wilcox. Because I do love to make books and artist books, and I did a lot of that for my degree. But I just like reading about people who are going through these journeys and educational journeys. And I didn't have time to read it over the last couple of years, so I want to read that. I mean, I did start reading it about a year ago, but I'm only on about page 33, so I've got a way to go. So, yeah, and apart from that, I've got tons of books, and I'll probably read a lot more, and I've already read quite a few. So that answers the question for day 19. So day 20 of LenorMarch is the man and the letter, or the letter and the man. And where's the other two? There we are. I like this guy, he reminds me of Heathcliff. And there's the letter. Look at that lovely room. Beautiful. I just like those cards so much. What do they mean to me? Well, letters mean messages, news. I miss letters. I miss real snail mail. I was a huge writer when I was a kid and had pen pals, and I used to write to my best friend all the time in the school holidays because we didn't live close to each other. And there was nothing quite like waiting for that letter to thump onto the mat when the post came. We used to decorate our envelopes and write messages to the postman, and it was just amazing. I got just such joy out of that. I also did mail art for years, making all sorts of trading cards and things and sending them around the world, and that was, again, huge amount of joy, great community. I do still do it now and again. So yeah, that's kind of what letters mean to me. And the man, I think, is pretty much a significator. So, but everyone loves mail. Everyone loves new tarot decks. Tail decks. Once a poet, mail tale. So, who would I write a letter to if I could? Or which man, I think, would I write a letter to? The question. And basically, I think I would write to my dad, who I don't know, never knew. He knew of my existence, but he never had anything to do with me. And I would write a letter to him, I think, and tell him what he missed out on. I'll tell him about my life and how he missed out on this amazing individual and his grandchildren and now his great-grandchild. I can't think of any other letter that would be, apart from that one, that I would really, I mean, there's always things I want to say to people, but that's one that I would like to write. I wouldn't expect an answer though, and I don't even know if he's still alive. But yeah, so there we go. That's that question done with. Day 21, the woman and the lilies. What do they mean to you? So these are the mysteries of the old castle. We've got a red lily there, which looks to me like one of those Christmas flowers. Poinsettia, and the lovely lady. And then we've got under the roses, more graphic, the lady smelling the rose, and the lilies. Well, the lady just means a significator, but yeah, I've got special female friends in my life, and I've got 3 daughters, and a mother, so there's a lot of good feminine energy in my life. Sometimes have problems with some of it, but on the whole it's all good. Lilies mean, well, in my culture they always meant death. It was unlucky to have lilies in the house, and they were always in church at Easter, which it is Easter weekend this weekend, and they were a symbol of death, and traditionally I think they are a symbol of death. I know they're also a symbol of peace, and according to the traditional LenorMarch meanings, they can be peace, harmony, contentment, maturity, experience, support, elders, wisdom, virtue, passion, completion, satisfaction, sex, influence, sensuality, recognition. They are quite sensual flowers, but they have that heavy scent, and normally I see white lilies. I mean, you can get lovely, like much lighter, smaller, speckledy, different lilies in gardens, and there's orange lilies, but the ones when I think of lilies, I think of the peace lily, the big, heavy, waxy white lily in the church, and I always think of Easter, because that's when they tend to have them, and they often have them at funerals too. But I was always brought up to believe that it was unlucky to have lilies indoors. Lilies and lilac, you were not allowed to have lilac indoors either. So what does the divine feminine mean to me? The divine feminine, I believe that women have their own power. I think there's a balance between male and female. There's not one that's better or stronger than the other. They just have different strengths. And the divine feminine to me is someone who knows her inner power, who knows she's strong, who doesn't try to compete with males, or doesn't want to have that, you know, I'm as good as the men, doesn't feel this oppression, this patriarchal oppression that so many people speak about. She's strong, and she, like goddess culture, knows her own power and has this peace and serenity about her, that she holds, and this wisdom. But I think the divine feminine is present, can be present in everyone, not just women. So it is a powerful force, a kind of serenity and an inner strength, more than an outer strength, and a kind of pre-knowledge or wisdom. That's how I see it anyway. So that's day 21 sewn up. I'm kind of rushing through these a bit because I'm so far behind, but that's okay. Okay, we're back with day 22 of LenorMarch, and we have the sun and the moon, and what do they mean to me? So there we are, the sun and the moon from the Mysteries of the Old Castle. Coming through that beautiful building. Imagine waking up in there. Well, probably quite cold, but I like it. And in the Under the Roses LenorMarch deck, the sun means hot countries, hot places, daylight, and sunsets. I love sunsets and sunrises. When I first came to New Zealand, I photographed 100 sunsets and sunrises. It was pretty obsessive, really. But I'm not really a sun worshipper. I prefer winter to summer. But then I like sunny winter days when it's cold but bright. Now and again, I love a cloudy, stormy day, but if it's just grey and drizzly, it's not so good. So the sun has its place, as long as it's a cooler sun. And traditionally, it means like success and victory and happiness and confidence and glory and vitality and all the things you'd expect from the sun, really, which makes the planet grow. But it has its dark side too. It can burn things, cause drought, you know. And it is powerful and has a huge amount of energy. And the moon, to me, well, the moon means everything. I'm a lunatic, baby. I just love the moon. I'm a night person. The moon is my light in the darkness. Even when I'm really sad at night, when I see the moon and it's like time for moonlight, even if it's cloudy, I can feel the moon. It's just magic to me. This, like it's in me, like it's part of me. The moon is a part of my being. And the question was sun, and how do we relate to our sun sign astrologically and our moon sign? Well, my sun is in Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, and my rising sign, my ascendant, is also Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. So I have a lot of lunar energy and a lot of watery energy, which is also associated with the moon. So it's not surprising that I feel the moon is part of me, and my emotions are very up and down. They go like the sea and the waves, and the moon seems to affect my emotions as much as it affects the ocean, the seas. They do go up and down, and on a full moon I can never sleep. No matter how cloudy it might be, I cannot sleep, or the nights surrounding it. I'm actually quite an insomniac, so I think the moon has a very powerful effect on me. And as for the sun being in Cancer, well, yeah, I'm a nurturer, a natural born nurturer. All of the characteristics of Cancer mostly fit me, and I have got a hard little shell on me. I can approach things side on like a crab rather than directly sometimes, but quite often I do go in a straight line too. And my moon is in Aries, and the moon in Aries, some of that fits with me. The moon in Aries people can be very impulsive about, get very passionate about something, and that's definitely me. They can be quick to react, and that can be me. they don't talk, but if they want something to do something, they'll do their best to get it done. They're the first one to do that, and that's also me. But another thing is like putting themselves in front of everything else. I don't do that. I kind of more put myself last. But there are some definite Moon in Aries characteristics that I associate with, especially the impulsiveness. That's probably the strongest Moon in Aries characteristic I possess. I mean, when you up and move hemispheres in 9 days, that's impulsive. That's crazy. That's lunatic. That's loony energy. And yeah, I'm a lunatic. So there we go. That's day 22 all sewn up. See you for day 23 soon.